You're listening to Your Daily Dungeon, a Dungeons & Dragons podcast by Your Daily Nerd. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Kyle Viveris from Your Daily Dungeon and Your Daily Nerd. I just want to give a brief thing before we get started today and say thank you so much for all the support that you guys have been giving us recently. I've noticed that we've had a little bit of an uptick in episode downloads for the audio-only version. I just want to say thank you very much for all the support you've been giving us. I hope you subscribe to our podcast feed. And if at all possible, please give us a review if you're listening to us on Apple, iTunes, whatever you want to call it. It really helps for us and helps us to kind of continue to grow this little fun thing that we're doing. And, if you leave us a 5-star review, I'll shout you out on the next episode, and we can get some fun stuff going out that way. But yeah, with that being said, let's get started with the episode. Ian, take it away.
Hey, man. Thank you guys so much for listening. Reiterate real quickly, thanks. And I'm excited for today's episode. Got some fun stuff for you. I believe today we're bringing you episode 11.
Yes, we are.
Lucky number is 11. Let's see. Oh, I usually like to do vocal warm-ups and stuff like that before episodes because, you just have to fall over your own tongues and stuff like that. So, I found a fun one that I like to do. Dejo sucks. Okay, so moving on.
Hey, that's the one I do.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Bash the baby's buttocks brazenly.
There was a fisherman named Fisher. For some fish in a fissure, till a fish with a grin pulled the fisherman in. Now they're fishing the fissure for Fisher.
Wow, that was totally unnecessary.
Nice.
The Human Torch was denied a bank loan.
So, I believe the last thing that we left off with is your characters are entering into the church. Nork, you're already there. And you guys enter into this necromantic green and black energy kind of blooming from the center of the church. Your characters are standing inside of an atrium of the ground floor of the church. It's like a small rectangular entryway, about 5, 10, 15, 20 feet across and 10 feet left to right. So basically enough space for two characters to stand next to each other with squeezing all out of the front door. But you see 4 doors, 2 to your left, 2 to your right, and a big center chapel, which is a massive rectangle. And at the front end of this chapel, you see Watt is floating in the air and very ceremoniously lowering back down to the ground. You also see there's a rope for the bell tower behind him as well. And it looks to be like a small alcove at the back end of the church. Let's see here. Nork, you would know that the father's name is Donovich. And Father Donovich looks to be absolutely terrified as he's watching what's his dead ass's name?
What?
Watt, yeah. Watching Watt lower to the ground. Watt, you have pale skin and your veins kind of pulse with black energy, and your irises are whited out.
Ooh, okay.
Other than that, any other alterations to color and skin would just generally be considered paler, or just your hair would probably be the same.
Yeah. Okay.
There's also a very faint necromantic energy to him, Eric, you would notice.
Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna... So, I'm a little, freaked out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna rush over to Watt, and I'm gonna be like, what's going on? What? How? What?
I'm just gonna be like, oh, hey, Mel. How's it going?
I say, is that what?
I'm inspecting.
Really
I'm looking at his hair. I'm grabbing his hair. I'm I got my hands on his face. I'm opening up his eyes, looking at his eyes. What the hell? You're fucking dead.
So would I know
Take
what
2.
happened to me? What's going on?
You would know everything up until the last moment of your death. Then you would know your soul was wandering the vicious hellscape that is the Barovian afterlife, with just a bunch of fucking spirits kind of roaming around inside of basically a phylactery type space that Strahd controls. Once you die, your spirit belongs to Strahd, but some divine force hath yanked you from that and given you a second opportunity at life.
Ah, you have been yoinked.
You got hoisted, my dude.
I appreciate the yoinking.
Yeeted, if you will.
The Morning Lord who did this for you.
Okay, would I know that it was the Morning Lord? Like, had he spoken to me or anything?
Yeah. So generally speaking, when we talk about the Morning Lord in Dungeons and Dragons, this is some fun fact information for your listeners as well. It is directly referencing Lathander, the god of sunlight and morning and goodness and so on and so forth. Yeah, his domains like good, nobility, protection, renewal, strength, sunlight, etc., etc. He's neutral good, and
Okay.
he's a greater deity, but his presence in Barovia is remarkably absent. So the fact that he's reached out to you and given you a second opportunity would be striking.
Okay. I'm just gonna tell everyone, like, I'm not sure why, but I was chosen to help bring the Morning Lord back to this land.
Additionally, all of your abilities now, all of your like divine abilities specifically, whenever you deal damage with them, instead of storm damage, it's now radiant.
Okay.
Shit.
That's pretty neat.
All right. Yeah. So just
Boogie boogie.
I'll take
So,
that.
I'm just trying to like wrap my head around this.
would you like to roll an Arcana check?
I would. I don't have my dice next to me. Oh wait, I can roll on my app real quick. I'll go grab some dice. And
Hey Alexa, roll for me.
Wow,
I have
that's
an
so
app.
sad. Alexa, roll d20.
Oh, that is a 24.
Oof.
Hey Alexa, roll Despacito.
One, it's the Justin Bieber solo.
Yes.
Ah.
So
Curses.
you take a look at Watt and you instantly recognize that he is I guess you could say an undead entity, Eric, known as Revenant. His body holds no signs of actual like life, but it is a magically reforming and never-ending life. He cannot die until he's fulfilled some purpose, either known to him or unbeknownst to him. Additionally, I believe you now know at all times, Adam, where your objective is for this. Whatever it is that would bring you rest, you know where it is.
Okay.
So tell us, Watt, are you back for vengeance? Back for truth? Back for protection?
I'm back to save all of the cursed souls in Barovia, like those kids we met back at the house.
Oh god, you're like Superman and Man of Steel. So many.
Oh.
That
Oh,
sounds
come on.
exactly like something.
Oh, it's so cringy. I'm
Oh.
literally cringing right now.
We are the worst friends ever. Our friend just came back to life. He tells us his objective
Y'all
to come back to life.
fuck.
And we're like,
And y'all are
"Ooh,
booing
fuck,
him."
Fuck that.
Want. Interestingly enough, amongst the souls you saw wandering the hellscape in your past life, you see one that is familiar to you in the shape of a dragonborn standing at the front of the steeple behind. You don't know his name or anything, but you recognize that his soul escaped.
Okay, so I saw him in the soulscape, and now he's alive. And I'm guessing this, or I'm gonna ask if the same thing happened to them that just happened to me.
What is the same thing that happened to them?
Them becoming a revenant and coming back to life.
Oh, you're asking him. Singular pronoun. Singular.
Oh yeah, because the girl's not here. That's right.
Irina is definitely not dead.
Okay.
I hate to get grammar Nazi on you, but that literally changed the nature of your question, so I had to.
Yeah, I
clarify.
got you.
Yeah.
No, you're fine. I understand now.
So he cocks an eyebrow and he says, "I don't know what you mean."
Okay, is he does he have the Revenant features as well, or?
You, as a cleric, get some kind of necromantic / undead vibe from him, but his outward features indicate that he's neither dead nor undead.
Okay.
He looks to be human, or not human. He looks to be alive.
Okay, I'm gonna
You
ask
have
everyone.
you have a suspicion.
Right. I'm gonna ask everyone where they met him, and where he came from.
We met him at the house. You weren't there, so I don't know if you know where we met him.
Literally, Amnon or DJ would know where you met him. Could just explain that real quick.
DJ, I'll let you take it.
We were at a house, and he was there.
All right.
It was the house of this man, and I kind of point to the dead body. Oh,
You hear the father finally speak up after this entire time, and he says, "You brought the burgomaster."
Yes, the master of burgers.
yes, he's right here. He's right here. Who has him?
His entire coffin was being carried by the Dragonborn alone.
Yes, we brought him over here to get blessed for a funeral. Is what we were tasked to do.
Hashtag blessed.
And,
All right. Well, glad to see I'm so easily replaced. So, what's our current goal?
but we would have at least waited a full day to replace you. He is mainly here out of circus.
I will say this about Saladin: he's not going to run into some random suspicious-looking house.
That is very true.
Okay. Do you not remember the fog that we tried to fight?
You know, that's we're fighting semantics right now. Let's just
Amnon just kind of puts his hands up, like, I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. What
So
fog?
the father looks over, and he says, he places a hand on the lid of the coffin, and he says, "If you want me to take care of Ismark's father, I suppose I could do so, but I'll need some time. It'll take probably all evening to bless the body, and then I need to sleep. But after that, if you'd like to come back in the morning, perhaps I could take care of something for you. We'll have the services at daybreak."
That seems reasonable enough.
that sounds double okay for me.
That was a very weird way to put it, Mel, but okay.
So the Dragonborn kind of like paces over to the the altar with the entirety of the coffin again, and he sets it down on top of the altar and like lifts the lid up, and you see him kind of like gently prop a pillow up underneath the dead man's head, so that the dead man isn't the traditional like funeral pose. He kind of takes a step back and puts his hands on his hips tentatively and looks down, tapping his foot, and turns around and says, "I must go back to Irina. I've been gone too long."
Do what you gotta do, buddy.
As he's stepping across, you see Donovich walk over to the door, and he latches the front door, and he says, "You can't go out. It's evening. Creatures of the night could be there."
I'm sorry, what?
"You cannot go out. It's evening. Creatures of the night could be about," is what he says.
What kind of creatures of the night?
He says, "Werewolves, vicious ravens, crazy druid folk." Yes, ravens. Have you not heard of the...
You think I'm gonna be scared of some birds?
Crazy
He says-
druid folk. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you knew what we had just gone through, I don't think you'd be too worried.
He looks at you and says, "Do not underestimate Strahd's servants."
You know, I don't think Strahd, you know, you know what? I don't even know where I'm going with this right now.
I assume that was both in character and out of character.
Pretty much. Um, I'm just gonna be like, well, I'm pretty sure we paid for a room at the tavern.
He kind of. So, by the way, this room you're standing in, all the pews and all the side prayer tables are just absolutely shattered and obliterated. There's claw marks all over the interior walls, and you see all the windows that held stained glass are boarded up, and there's like pieces and shards of the stained glass all over the floor as well. It looks like this church has been invaded several times.
Or a werewolf. And it sounds stupid, but
Are you suggesting that in character?
not in character.
Okay. So he kind of like steps away from the door, and he thumbs the key into the side of his robe, and he says, "It's not that I don't want you to leave. I understand that you paid for rooms, but I greatly appreciate some company this evening. I'm feeling a bit forlorn."
Can I give some kind of like insight check to see if this guy is being shady as fuck or not?
Yes.
That is an 11.
He's off-putting to you. He mildly unsettles you, but not in the sense that he's being creepy.
Okay.
You can tell that the man seems obviously distraught. More than just, Watt suddenly coming back into life in his church.
I'm just gonna kind of walk forward and be like, "Is everything okay, friend? You seem distraught."
He looks over at you and he says, "A father of an abbey, overlooked by Castle Ravenloft itself, backyard neighbor to Strahd himself, and you ask me if I'm worried or distraught? Sure."
Yeah, retroactively looking at what I said, that makes sense.
You guys hear suddenly, from beneath you, the sounds of the floorboards scratching as if nails are dragged across them, and you hear beneath the floorboards, "Father, I'm starving!"
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
Well,
I'm gonna go over to this guy and be like, what the fuck is this?
you got kids down there?
He looks at you and he says, "It's not really any of your business."
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you some kind of like pedophile or something? Like touching little boys or something? Huh? What's wrong with you? I just noticed that Mel is very aggressive tonight. We're going with it.
He looks at you and says, "No, absolutely not. Nothing like that. Why?" You notice that his voice is weak.
All right. Well, if you're not gonna let us leave, and you got little kids in your basement screaming that they're hungry, I think you better start talking.
He kind of looks at his hand, and you can see that his hands are from all the time he's been in this land. It looks like he's done a fair bit of physical work. He's got calluses all over them, and his hands are dirty with blood and dirt. He looks up at you and he says, "I'm but a simple father, and I am in a great malaise. I ask that you treat me with kindness and understand that my intentions for what you'll find inside this house of God, are not cruel ones. Only a man in dire straits." He sits down on what remains of one of the pews, looking down at his feet.
All right. I'm kind of like looking around, like, All right, fine, fine. Well, where are we gonna sleep?
Um, he motions and says, "Got 2 beds there to the right, and then there's up in the church loft a bed. That's 3. Perhaps if you don't mind sharing." You hear the sound of a wolf howl outside.
Ooh. All right.
Once again, the scratching comes from beneath you, and it says, "Father, I know you have guests. Do not ignore me. I'm hungry."
Jesus.
All right. Well,
I really don't like that.
maybe you should feed your kid.
He looks up at you, rather like his head whips almost to you, and he says, "I cannot. He does
What?
not eat what you and I will eat.
Well,
He does
what
not
is-
drink what we drink."
What does he eat and drink?
What's wrong with your kid?
Many moons ago, a wizard came to Barovia, looking to fell Strahd. He rallied armies, men, young men, warriors, elves, downtrodden by Strahd, and led them to the castle. So few returned. My child Doru was one of them. He has come back to me, yes, but he is not my son anymore. A pale, strange man, beset by some devilish magic of Strahd himself, has returned himself to my arms, and now I have locked him in my basement. The sight of him, wretched and fanged, has left me scarred. He adjusts himself in his seat and looks back down at his feet. It looks like he's trying to look through the floor almost. Roll insight checks.
5.
14.
That is a hold on. 9.
25 total for me.
Oh, wow.
23.
Ooh, very
Uh,
insightful one.
What about Norik?
2.
2. All right, so Norik and Davros, after hearing everything he has to, the words "fanged" cling to your ear. Norik, you feel not Norik, sorry, Davros, you feel your heart skip a beat at that word, and it dawns on you that when it says "fanged," it can mean only one thing.
Yeah, like Davros.
Obviously,
wasn't
Watt would draw
paying
this
super.
conclusion.
Yeah.
Like Davros wasn't paying super strict attention, but the word "fang" just kind of snapped him back.
And I'm guessing I just figured that out with the roll.
Yeah, you figured out the same thing. I just picked because you both rolled the same thing basically. Do either one of you say anything? Does that?
I choose to just kind of table it in my head.
Same.
Okay.
I don't want to say anything like in front of the man or the son.
I'm gonna look around. Is there like an entrance to the basement somewhere?
You don't see anything in particular in this main hallway, or sorry, not main hallway, in the actual like chapel of the church. There's still like the rope up to the bell, and then there's also the 4 rooms that you haven't gone into.
Would I have noticed that Watt noticed?
He probably might have even given you a look. Does that make
Fangs?
sense?
Yeah, we'd probably give each other a look when he said the word fangs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just wanted to file that away.
The rest of you don't think anything of his speech other than he's being kind of moody. He's in a mood. He's like a teenager in 2006.
All right. Well. Okay.
I'm 14 and this is deep.
I just turned to him. I was like, all right, fine. Go ahead and do what you got to do to prepare the body and everything, and then I guess we'll double up on bed. I guess I don't know. Got the people sleeping on the floor.
You see the dragonborn bed cot and kind of stretches it in the main hall, and he says, "I'll take first watch."
All right, sounds good. And then I'm like, "What?
Yes.
Come here."
I go to you. What's up?
I just need to just come here, and then I lead you to one of the rooms, and I shut the door.
So he does not give you, mind you, a key to the door closest to the front and the right. It's marked D on your maps. It's if you're looking at the rectangle, it's the bottom right corner of the first rectangle.
Okay. I just go into one of the bedrooms.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
With what? And it's gonna seem really weird, but I'm like examining everything. My dog just barked, and I apologize for that. But
Start undressing him.
no, possibly, but it's more of like I need to see like is his body like in some kind of in any sort of stable condition, like is he like gonna fall apart in a couple of days, being dead, like
Beyond looking, generally speaking, veiny, like he's got like varicose veins all over him, and the pale white eyes, he looks alive.
all right.
And I'm like, I feel fine, but if you find anything potentially wrong with me, I'd appreciate it if you let me know.
I've already found something wrong. You're dead.
You know,
You don't have a pulse. See, that's the first sign that something's wrong. Your eyes are completely white. That's another thing that's wrong. Your hair turned white. My dog keeps barking. Shut up. I
yeah,
mean,
but like, that just means I look different. Is there actually anything wrong?
look, what
Yes.
if you start to feel weird, or if something seems a bit odd, just let me know. All right.
Plot, for the record, you do know you're not dead.
Yeah, I know.
Are you just not choosing to tell him?
Wait, what did you say? That I'm not dead?
No. I said you know why you're not like permanently dead.
Oh, that I'm the Revenant?
Yes, you know you're a Revenant.
I told them out when I first revived, didn't they? And then he.
I'm not sure you would have told him anything.
Well, okay, well, I'll explain it to him now then. Because I thought I explained it to them when I first came back.
Okay. So he explains to you his experience in the afterlife, Eric, and his gifting of life warning Lord himself.
All right. So I'm gonna be like, that's a bit hard to swallow. Okay. Because to be honest, I didn't think there was an afterlife. But you're here.
That's like playing a flat earther.
The Earth is
Okay,
flat.
like in genuineness, like the nine, it's a real place. It's like saying like, "Oh, I don't believe in gods in D&D." Well, I mean, you get your magic from them sometimes, so.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not saying that there aren't other planes of existence.
You just didn't think that there was an afterlife, like, so specific?
Yeah.
Okay. Why you would know that this particular afterlife was for Barovia and Barovia alone.
Yeah.
Would you explain that to him?
Okay. Yeah, if he's asking questions about the afterlife existing.
I'm asking you all the questions.
Yeah, and then I'm like,
he seems oddly inquisitive to you. What? Like his interest would probably strike you as strange.
yeah, I'm gonna in a minute when we're done with this conversation, I was gonna ask him why he was so interested, but I'll answer all of his questions for now.
Yeah. All right. So I'm like, what's some good questions to ask? So when you came back, shut up. Sorry about that. When you came back, did it hurt? Did it just happen?
I just kind of woke up and I was floating.
Floating. Yeah. We saw that. We saw that bit.
Yeah, that's where my consciousness began.
Okay. Let's see. Did and you said you spoke. Did he say he spoke to a god, like or the god like spoke to him or something?
No, I just kind of know that it was the Morning Lord that brought me back.
That is a god.
Yeah, but it didn't speak to me, did it?
It did.
Oh.
So, okay, all right. So, what was that like? Did you like did you have, was it like a two-way conversation, or did you just kind of like, be like, yo, you're gonna like come back to life and you're gonna do this?
Ian, how would that have happened? Would it just be him basically be like, hey, help bring me back to Barovia, and then just send me back to my body?
Lathander would have spoken to you about your righteous cause not being done, that he wishes to bring the light and reveal the pain of Barovia so that it may be free and cleansed. Lathander appeared to you as a human male with a mace on his hip and a cape on his back, wearing blue armor with like gold trim. And he was a young man with brown hair.
Okay.
And Lathander would have asked you to go back and basically, I guess you could say, free people. He finds that Strahd's not only doing something that is directly in opposition to one of his domains, the sun, but also Lathander is the god of like birth and life, and like the commander of creativity and inspiration and so on and so forth. And he finds it appalling, one, that Barovia is at a standstill, and two, he is directly offended that Strahd is basically holding people's souls hostage.
Okay. So I'll tell Nell that the Morning Lord basically just asked me if I would help him, told me what he needed me to do, and I told him yes, and now I'm here.
All right. So, okay. All right. I'm taking down notes as he's telling me all this. All right.
Okay.
Now, while we're talking, just real quick, can you do just 100 jumping jacks? Just
Okay. Anybody else up to anything while this is going on?
I'm just
Sorry.
I'm just
go ahead.
observing the shenanigans.
He
Yeah,
pulled
right.
him off to the side in another room. Did you follow into the other room?
I
Curious.
Oh no,
Hey,
that
Ian,
must have cut out. I did not hear that.
what shenanigans could I get into right now?
Oh no.
Quite a couple things. There's also a locked room.
There's a locked room.
There's a locked room.
What else is there?
It's a smaller church.
DJ's looking around to get into something.
Well, the Dragonborn is basically sitting by the front door watching it. So if you wanted to get out the front door, you have to go through him.
I don't want to go out the front door.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 windows, and all boarded up.
Okay.
There's 4 rooms attached. So like basically, think of the chapel as one small square, or sorry, one small rectangle attached
Okay.
to a larger rectangle with an alcove in the center top portion of the larger rectangle.
Okay.
At the top of that alcove is the bell tower, and the 4 rooms at the very bottom in the smaller rectangle. Those are separated equidistant from one another, 2 on one side, 2 on the other, and the bottom right one is locked.
Oh, wait, so they're not all locked.
No.
Okay. But those are the bedrooms, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then that one bedroom is locked. I'm gonna go and just kind of look around over there, and I noticed that it's locked, right?
Yes.
So I'm gonna go up to this dude. I forget his name. What was his name, Ian?
The Dragonborn?
Yes,
Saladin.
Saladin. Okay.
Mhm.
I go up to Saladin. I say, "Hey, Saladin. I don't know if I've formally introduced myself. My name is Dijo Joey. At least I haven't got up and told him my name yet."
Yeah, so he tilts his head and looks at you with a bit of inquisition in his eyes, and he says, "And what, pray tell, little gnome, brings you to Barovia?"
I'm tagging along with these guys.
He looks back at Mel as he enters Watt, excitedly asking several questions, and he cocks an eyebrow and he says, "Oh, I see. Were those 2 in a relationship?"
Yeah, they are.
Oh. He nods his head and goes like, I'm not judging, mind you, just curious.
Fuck you, DJ.
Yeah.
God damn it.
He looks he looks over at the hobgoblin. What are you up to right now, Nork?
I'm kind of like I'm bored at this point. Like I just want to like go. So Norik's just kind of been like he's sitting against the wall, just kind of like drawing circles in the dirt.
Okay. That's really some next level boredom.
Like he's just ready to go. He was surprised that Watt came back, and even more surprised that he wasn't mad that we're in time to save him. He's just kind of like he's just ready to go.
Do you want to pray to the hobgoblin deity or something? Or the goblin deity in general? Maglubiet?
No, not right now.
Okay.
Hey, Ian.
Yes.
Dijo asks. He just goes up to. While he's talking to Saladin, he's like,
Mhm.
"Hey, so are all these bedrooms right here?"
He looks at you. He's like, "I don't work here."
Okay. All right. Well, Dijo's like, "Oh, well, yeah, okay." So
He
Fair
looks at you. He's
enough.
like, "I came from the same house."
look, all right, look. I was just wondering if maybe you knew. I'm sorry. Okay.
He stands up and he says, "Are you looking to get into some trouble?"
Wait, with you or other trouble?
He grins.
He pulls out a big bag of weed.
Yo.
You ever seen a green dragonborn?
Hey Ian,
Yes.
hear Saladin when he says, "Are you looking to get into trouble?"
Yeah.
Just definitely perk up, and I
I'm looking
I
to get into some trouble.
I head over to them and I say, you looking
Saladin looks over at the locked door and says, "I kind of want to know what's going on underneath the floorboards of this house."
Me too.
Can I see the gathering of
This is-
people? I'm
is
assuming they're
what
not
I-
like hidden.
Yeah,
away.
but by this time you would have known the sizable people by the front door.
Okay, yeah. Dijo says, "Hey, look, see that lock? I got this. I can open that."
Oh God.
All right. Now I want to attempt to open that lock.
All right,
Open that
go
door.
ahead and dex check plus proficiency with your thieves toolkit.
Alrighty. Okay. 4 plus
That's pretty bad.
Hey,
he just
18.
rolled. Oh, okay.
Plus 4 plus 3. 18 plus 7 is, I don't know the math.
25.
25.
Yeah, 25.
Enough.
Yeah.
So so Dijo unlocks the door over there pretty much with
Got
ease.
it.
Do you want to try and open the door quietly, or just kind of open the door, or what?
I'm pretty cautious still, so I open up the door quietly. I look around, make sure there's nothing that's gonna grab me or anything.
Okay. So you swing the door open very quietly, and you look inside, and this room is kind of a wreck. Time and neglect have punched holes in the ceiling, which contains a few broken shingles amid puddles of water. In one corner, set into the floor, you see a heavy wooden trapdoor held shut with a chain and a padlock. You can also hear the screams of anguish of the young man behind that door.
What do you think's wrong with that dude?
Saladin shrugs, his pauldrons kind of going up and down around his head, and he says, I guess we can ask him.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Dijo goes up to the trapdoor.
Does anybody say anything to him as Dijo walks over the door?
Davros is in here, right?
Yeah, I came
Davros
with.
and Nork is there.
Right,
Do
now
me and
what-
Mel see them going over there, or are we still in our conversation?
You basically just started that conversation.
Okay.
All right, now what I need you to do, could you do 50 squat thrust?
Do
I hope we have him stripped down to basically his underwear. So in 15 minutes, if I don't hear turn your head and cough, I'm gonna be upset.
Oh, it was coming. It was totally coming.
Yeah, Dijo starts walking toward the trapdoor. Just kind of calmly.
Anybody say anything?
No, I'm gonna let it happen.
I think
Alrighty.
I'm gonna follow
Alright.
behind. I'm gonna follow behind DJ.
All right, so Dijo's
You see-
getting kind of
you-
close. Is there
you
is there
see
like any
Sal-
like banging on there, like anything, or?
No, you just hear the sounds of like the anguish wailing. You also see Sally kind of poke his head out the door and says, "I'm gonna go keep the priest busy." And he steps out and he shuts the door.
Where's he going? Dijo's getting a little bit anxious now. He's like, "Hey man, how are you doing?" Just kind of like a good distance away from the trapdoor.
The wailing stops, and you hear the sounds of like footsteps on kind of like wetted pavement beneath you,
Uh-huh.
and you hear the sounds of wooden stairs creaking with footsteps, and you hear the sounds of like, the metal tinking at the sounds of fingernails kind of pressing up against the bottom of the trapdoor, and you hear him say, "Have you brought me food? I can smell it."
I heard you don't really eat normal things, so I haven't brought you any food actually. I'm sorry. You doing okay?
You hear the sounds of a screech, and the trapdoor rattles as he strikes it with both of his hands.
Is that a yes?
The trapdoor
No.
locked.
Yes, the trapdoor has a rusted padlock on it.
So yes, no. Should I just go?
You hear the sounds of like kind of hurried shuffling. Amnon, are you speaking to the priest? What are you up to, Amnon?
I'm back still over in this like area marked F on the map. I have during this time I've been in like a meditative state, like having a conversation with Zarbdok about like what's been going on the past like 24 hours.
So by this time, you would hear the sounds of the Dragonborn padding over in his mailed boots, and Father Donovich turns and says, "Where did the others go?"
What others?
This question would probably resonate with you, Amnon.
Yes, it's like I imagine the way that it's happening is that like Zarbdok and Amnon are having a conversation, and it's like all dark, and then that question rings and like vibrates his head, and then Amnon opens up one eye and he's like, "Where's everybody?"
And he leans over and he says, "Well, priest, I believe your secret's about to be let out." And the priest goes, "What?" and tries to run past Saladin, and Saladin grabs him by the arm and like kind of shoves him and says, "Back to your work."
And at this point, you hear, "Okay, now turn your head and cough." Wait, what was that?
I'm gonna I'm gonna get up and I'm just gonna start like walking towards that door.
Saladin turns and looks at you and says, "Don't stop them, tiefling."
Hey, I'm not trying to stop anybody from doing anything. I just need to make sure that my friends are okay.
He nods his head and he says, "They may need your help." And the priest slams his on the Dragonborn's chest and says, "No! I can't let you go down there! I won't let you hurt him!"
I'm just gonna run over to the door.
Alright, Dijo. So you hear the sounds of scurrying now, and the floorboards directly beneath your feet, kind of like gutter. And
I move.
You hear the voice beneath you say, "Hey, please."
I move very quickly.
It scurries after you wherever you move to.
No! I move like back to the door with my friends. This is making me very uncomfortable.
At this point, would me and Mel have been done, and I kind of.
Yeah, you step back out and you're like doffing the rest of your gear as Mel. It looks like he's finished wrapping up his notes. And you see Amnon run by you, Mel.
What's going on?
Yeah, Dijo's pulling a Dijo.
You get to the.
What are you doing? I walk over there.
So you get to the door, Amnon. You see the Dragonborn once shut it when he left, but you see that it looks like there's some kind of like strange ribbon tied around the door handle. It glows with a symbol that looks to be like an Ouroboros. You see it. Yeah, you see a silver Ouroboros glowing on the. To those of you that don't know what the Ouroboros is, it's the tattoos that they have on the homunculi and Full Metal Alchemist.
I don't know.
It's a serpent. It's specifically a blue dragon eating its tail.
I just thought it was something made up for Resident Evil 5.
No, I think it's a very dating well back into like the 5th or 4th century. It has a lot to do with Vikings and Viking culture, I believe, but I don't know if it originates from there.
What does it do specifically?
In the context of D&D, or?
Yes.
You need to roll an
Arcana check?
Mm-hmm.
That is a 3. I got no idea.
Yeah, you look at this ribbon and you have that is.
Mel, what is this shit?
All right. What this? And I look at it and I try to determine what it is. If I had to give it a number, I'd say a 15.
Was that what you rolled?
Yes. That is
Okay. You see that it's a sort of magical seal. It locks the door. Dijo comes slamming up to the door on the other side and is like starts rattling the handle to get out, I assume.
So wait, that is exactly what he does.
So wait, Dijo's trapped in there?
Yeah, you hear the sounds of Dijo and Davros inside that room.
Wait, is
I'm
Nork in there as well? Yeah, Nork's in there as well.
Can I? I look at both of them and I say, "Move," and I go to like. I basically kind of rear back and I lunge toward the door to try to knock it down.
Sure. So the room, by the way, it's 15 feet wide and 10 feet tall. So Norik, you go rushing up and you slam into it. Give me a strength check.
Please pass. Please pass.
Please. Try it. God, an 8.
Alrighty. So you strike the door and you see a magical Ouroboros like almost force field appear on your side of the door, Nort, and you hit your shoulder into it, you bounce off of it, and it knocks you to the ground, uninjured, mind you. And you hear from across the room Father Donovan scream outside. He says, "Leave him alone!" And you hear Saladin saying, "I'm tired of playing games with you, priest. What is your son?" And you see the Dragonborn toss the man onto the floor.
Screw what his son is. It's like, get him to open the door. Deidre's in there.
Saladin turns back and looks at you.
Hey, me too.
He turns back and says, "I care not for your friend or his well-being. I care for the creature that lurks down beneath these boards that threatens all of us."
Friends.
Die.
Friends, plural.
He doesn't have to die to figure out what this thing is.
He looks at you and he says, "You and I have very different methods about finding the answer to things. This is me doing it. You save your trouble, bookkeeper, for your spell casting." He picks up the priest by the chest, by the scruff of his shirt, and you see on Saladin's back a great sword kind of just like appears as Saladin. You see a glamour spell, Dispel. You see Saladin's now. He's got white scales and a black crack across his right eye, where a scar has formed, blinding his right eye. And you see just this big set of full plate mail armor. He grips the priest and he says, "Answer my question. What is your son?"
Okay. I'm like, I summon a fireball in my hand.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't give a shit what you care about. I will burn this whole fucking place down if that door is not opened.
I'm gonna shoot 2 Eldritch Blasts at the door.
Can I hear Mel say that?
Yeah.
Hey, can you get us out first?
So Nork, as you're laying on, you hear the sounds of thumping on the trapdoor again, and you see one of the chains on the chain link burst.
Nork, was that what I think it was?
I just go.
You hear the sound, inhuman screech as an arm bursts through one of the floorboards, grabs onto your leg, Nork, and rips you down into the bottom floor.
Oh god.
Oh shit.
Nork,
He's just gonna try and grab Norik.
give me a strength check.
This is a terrible idea.
Heavy boy.
I'm still gonna shoot my 2 Eldritch Blasts at the door.
Okay.
I rolled a 7.
Mel, you would know that a regular spell on that door isn't going to destroy the seal. It needs to be magically dispelled.
Oh no. This isn't me wanting to cast a spell on the door.
No, I'm saying you would blast for the door to no effect, and you would know why they don't affect it.
Yeah. No, that's why I'm threatening to burn the place down if this door is not opened. I summoned a fireball in my hand.
Yeah, you saw me shooting Eldritch Blasts at the door.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I saw you doing it, and I was just like, that's not gonna do anything. Just like, I fucking summon a fireball, and I'm just like, that door needs to be opened, or we're all going down.
Norik, you hit the ground below, and DJ, what'd you roll on your strength?
7.
You get pulled down with them.
Nice.
Yes. Hey, buddy.
Hey, how's it going?
Norik, you fall 10 feet, and you take 5 points of damage. You slam onto the...
Is it dark?
It is, yeah, it's completely dark, but you and DJ can both see just fine.
Nice.
Not worried about it. I was just wondering in case anyone else comes down.
I think the only person that it really impacts is Mel.
Yeah.
So Mel, you threaten are you threatening the priest or are you threatening the Dragonborn?
Both.
The priest looks at you and he says, "You can't expose us to the night. You'll kill us all." And the Dragonborn scoffs, looks at you, and you can tell that he's a revenant, and he says, "Do it." You would know that you can't kill a revenant like that, so you're not really threatening him.
Okay. So I'm like, I'm not looking to hurt anybody. I'm just looking to get my friend out.
Friends.
Yeah. So Amnon, do you say anything? You hear probably the sound of Noric scream, and Deidre goes, "I got you!" Oh no! And the sounds.
Oh,
the sounds
jeez,
of,
Rick.
you hear the sound of a slam on the floor beneath you. Concrete kind of splintering at a heavy weight limit.
So
And then you hear a screech.
So we would have been able to tell that they fell through the floor?
Yes.
Okay, Watt has an idea. He's gonna take his warhammer and start trying to break a hole in the floor open to get down and help them.
Okay. Go ahead and roll damage. You strike the floor with ease.
Okay. Let's
This
see.
is the floor.
I'd hope you don't miss the floor.
This is a chicken wing.
Still getting used to those new Revenant eyes.
7 damage to the floor.
Alrighty. You slam your hammer, it goes straight to the floor, making a pretty minuscule hole. When you pull your hammer up, Watt, you look down and you see the eyeball, something looking up at you. It scurries past the floor, past the hole.
Okay.
Noric, you look up as you're kind of getting undazed. Dijo is laying on top of you. It looks like he is momentarily unconscious. He didn't lose any hit points or anything. It looks like the fall, he whacked his head. He's not looking too good, but you cushion the fall.
Oh.
Never did nothing for you, buddy.
Yeah, as you kind of gently set Dijo off to the side, you kind of start to stand up, and you look up and you see a human male, not crawling across the floor. He lets loose one of his right hand so that basically his left side is clinging to the ceiling, but his right arm is hanging back, and he looks over his shoulder at you, and he hisses, and you see claws form on his fingers, and you see 2 fangs pop out of his mouth. You instantly recognize a vampire spawn.
Awesome. So I kind of I go, all right, and then I just pull my great sword off my back.
He drops down right next to you, and leaps for your throat. Give me contested strength.
Actually, don't know what that means.
You just roll your strength modifier. Is
Oh, that's gonna be an
17.
8.
Ooh. So he grabs you by the throat, lifts you up, and he looks at you, and his eyes look sorrow and pleading as he kind of crushes your throat a little bit with his grip, and he says, "Father gave me food." And he hurls you into one of the pillars on the bottom floor, and you slam your back into it. You take a d6 of damage. So you take 4 points of damage, and he turns and looks at Dijo as you're kind of trying to reassemble yourself and try to figure out what the fuck just happened. Dijo, you kind of wake up, and you see a fanged human leaning over you as he grabs you by the throat.
He's already grabbed me by the throat.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to try to
Wiggle free?
stab him.
Oh, okay. Roll the hit.
Oh shit! Sorry. I rolled a 10.
All right, you go to strike him with your blade. As it hits his side, the end of the blade snaps off.
Oh, okay.
Shit.
He looks at you, and he kind of pets the side of your beard, and he says, "I really don't want to get blood on that."
I don't want to get blood on it either.
So flipping upstairs, Watts, you're hearing the sounds of crashing and Noric screaming again, and the sounds of muffled talking. As Saladin looks over at the wizard, and he kind of cocks an eyebrow, and he says, "Sounds like the door isn't the obstacle anymore." And he tosses the priest aside and starts walking over to you.
All right.
Not aggressively, mind you. He looks
Yeah,
to speak to
like
you.
he's gonna try to help me get down there.
Yeah.
I'm like, you got a plan to get down there?
You see him kind of heft his greatsword in his hand. He spins it around so he's got the blade side in his hand, and he's going to pommel strike the ground next to you.
All right. I like draw my weapon and I'm ready to just jump down the hole when it opens.
Cool. He walks the floor. He hits it for a total of 13 points of damage. He strikes where you struck, and the floor crumbles around it. Norik, as you're standing up, you can see the Dragonborn kind of like hefting the sword back to properly grip it, and you see Watt standing there, as well as probably Amnon and Mel, who probably peek into the hole now as well.
Absolutely.
Okay. You see the vampire spawn holding Dijo by the throat, and he's kind of doing that thing where bad guys really should have just bit him by now, but he's kind of like slowly leaning in for the bite.
Yeah.
He has to give me time to make my attack. Which, can I do that now?
Hang on, let's see what the others do, and then we'll get back to you, Norton.
I'm just gonna-
Okay.
You go ahead first, Mom.
I would just be like, Dijo! And I fucking, like, I scorch and ray his ass.
Okay.
Cast
Roll to hit.
Let me see. I still didn't grab dice, so hold on.
Fucking.
God damn it.
We've been at this for over an hour now.
22. So
Okay.
22 on the first hit, 20 on the second hit, and 22 on the third hit.
Hell yeah.
So I'm pretty sure all 3 of those hit.
that's yes.
Okay.
Yarp.
So that's 9d6,
Yarp.
37 damage.
Not a bad amount of damage.
Oh yeah,
And
when all
it's-
3 of those hit, that's pretty good.
And it is fire damage, right? So that's even more. Well, it's not even more. It just means that, vampires, it's not resistant to that.
Yay.
Said 37 damage.
Yes.
Let's see here. 5, 7 minus 3 is 4. Okay. So at this time, I'm going to have to ask you guys to roll an.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
We're gonna treat what just happened as a surprise round. So we're gonna start with Amnon. Amnon is doing his surprise round,
Okay. Cool.
and then we're gonna go to Norik, and then Watt.
Cool. I'm gonna shoot 2 Eldritch Blasts at it.
Okay.
That is a natural 20, my boy, on the first one.
Okay.
And the second one is a 23. I'm assuming that hits too.
Yeah. So you crit and hit normally. Cause that's 3d10.
Yeah,
Do you have agonizing blast?
I do, so it's 3d10 plus 8. That is a total of 21 points of damage.
Okay. Watt, what would you like to do? You are 10 feet up, so you have to jump down.
I'm gonna jump down with my silver sword and try to land on him and hit him in the back and strike him in the back.
Okay. Give me an athletics check first to land on him specifically.
Okay. 18.
All right, you do so and roll to it.
Roll my
You
attack.
may do so. You may do so at advantage.
Okay. First roll's a 9. Second roll is a 21.
21. All right, you hit.
Okay. And 5 damage.
It's radiant or non-radiant.
It's my silver sword.
Okay.
And would the falling add any extra damage to it, or?
No.
Okay.
What do you think this is? Assassin's Creed? Calm down.
Fair enough.
Alrighty. So it's Norik's turn, or Norik's turn to do the surprise.
gonna fire magic missile at it.
Okay.
Oh shit. Give me a second. And it's 3 bolts, correct?
Yeah, so 3d4 plus.
That's 2.
I think it's 9.
Yeah.
So, we're actually out of time, so we're gonna have to start off next session with combat. So looks like we're out of time for today's episode. Thank you guys so much for listening to Your Daily Dungeon presenting Curse of Strahd, and thank you so much for all those watches. Be sure to, if you're watching us on YouTube, also to like, comment, subscribe, etc., etc. But if you're watching us or listening to us rather on Spotify, YouTube, what are the other ones? Not YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. What are the other ones?
We got iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, and iHeartRadio.
Yeah, just please feel free to review us, and it'd be greatly helpful, and we can continue to bring you some great content. We'll catch you guys next week on Your Daily Dungeon. Do you have something else to say, Carl?
No, I was just going to sarcastically say, Alexa, play Your Daily Dungeon.